different world. Like hell on earth.
We spend the whole day in the cell.
Zero tolerance.
Riots can break out at any time. They can get angry and attack us.
All this behind bars. Gangs. Violence. Drugs. Harassment. A daily survival of the fittest. In the toughest prisons in the world. Guatemala, one of the most dangerous countries on the American continent. On average, 8 people die every day in Guatemala as a result of violent crime. Extortion, kidnapping, and robbery are sad everyday occurrences in this country of 18 million inhabitants. Escuintla is the 3rd largest city in the country and is just under an hour-and-a-half's drive from the capital, Guatemala City. This is the site of Guatemala's toughest prison, the Renovation 1 Maximum Security Detention Center. Everything in this prison is designed for maximum control and security. Escaping from here is practically impossible. Nearly 200 hardened criminals are currently serving sentences in Renovation 1, ranging from 25 to 100 years. All reduced to a number and locked away behind thick bars. 5:30 in the morning, the high-security prison slowly comes to life. The guards live and sleep on the prison grounds, just a stone's throw away from the criminals. The day shift starts at 6 o'clock. 110 guards are on duty in 3 shifts. One of them is this officer. For his protection, we call him Pablo.
We get up, we go to the bathroom, then we relieve our colleagues from the night shift. The first task is to distribute breakfast and check that everything is in order in the cells.
Pablo and his colleagues always alternate between 1 week on duty and 1 week off. To protect themselves and their families from acts of revenge by inmates and gangs, they always wear masks while on the job. Shortly before 6 a.m., Pablo gears up for the new day.
We always wear this belt. We have our handcuffs and our baton on it. That's it. Nothing else.
They carry no firearms because, in a worst-case scenario, inmates could quickly use them against the guards. The 25-year-old has 12 hours ahead of him with the most vicious criminals in the country. 12 hours in which he has to be alert every second.
Every morning, I wake up. I pray to God that the day goes without incident and that nothing bad happens to me. We work with very dangerous people here. There's always a chance something bad can happen. In that case, only God can help us.
Renovation 1 extends over 10,000 square meters and offers space for a maximum of 260 inmates. The cell block is located in the middle of the prison. It comprises several large cells and an extra area for the isolation cells. Directly adjacent to the cell block are the areas for the yard corridor and the visiting room. There are also administrative buildings and living and recreation areas for the guards. The entrance building is separated from the actual prison and only connected by a narrow corridor. This is where the video surveillance system is located. This prison is considered the most secure and toughest in the country. It's just after 6 in the morning. Some 200 prisoners are about to be served breakfast. Pablo and his colleagues get ready in the cell block's entryway. This corridor leads to the individual cells, separated by at least 3 barred and locked doors.
Breakfast is here, we do a security check, and then we hand it out.
The rules for dealing with the prisoners are tough. As soon as a cell is opened, at least 20 guards must be present.
We have all kinds of criminals here. Murderers, rapists, blackmailers. They're all here.
The food is delivered to the prison in portions by external delivery. Although the colleagues at the entrance have already checked every meal, there is a second check here. Nobody should have the opportunity to smuggle anything into the cell block, not even the guards. There are tortillas with beans and sausage, along with water and juice. 1 portion for each prisoner. There are no seconds. The first communal cell has more than 30 inmates. Guards keep contact with the highly dangerous inmates to a minimum. The guards are even strictly forbidden from talking to them. Only shift leader Pablo is allowed to do so.
The night shift has already counted the prisoners, and now I'm doing a double check.
The guards count the prisoners several times per shift. They are all among the most dangerous criminals in the country. It is the same procedure in the next cell.
Every prisoner here is unpredictable. We always have to be on our guard and be vigilant. You can't trust them. They are capable of anything.
The particularly aggressive and dangerous prisoners are in the cells at the back of the block. One of the guards therefore takes the camera with him, and the TV crew has to wait outside. There is too great a risk that the presence of the team will cause unrest and aggression, which in the worst case could end in a riot. In here, even the guards exercise much greater caution. So far, breakfast has gone without incident. But one phase is still unfinished.
This is the isolation wing. This is where those who cause trouble go.
And there are quite a few of them. The 7 isolation cells are fully occupied. 2 men each share a 10 square meter cell. Franklin is one of them. He has been serving time behind bars for 8 years.
The food is not particularly good, but we have no choice but to eat it. There's no alternative. Only when it's visiting day, our families bring us food. Anything we want. So every 2 weeks there's good stuff. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to take any of it into the cells, not even a piece of chicken or something.
Franklin and his fellow inmate's cell measures just 2 by 5 meters. Bed and bathroom, that's all there is room for. At least the sanitary facilities are simple but relatively new. Each cell has a shower and a toilet. There is hardly any space for personal belongings. The men store their few possessions on or under the bed.
I wake up in the morning, I take a shower, and then I start making things. We do everything in this cell. They are the only things we can do here. There's no room for anything else. The cell is too small, and we're not allowed out into the corridor either. We're in here all day.
Prison clothes, hygiene articles, the Bible, and paper. That's all the prisoners are allowed to have. To kill time, they fold a kind of origami art.
We get the materials from our families. We ask them to bring paper and glue. Then we fold the paper piece by piece. We then put these folded pieces together. That's how we make the flowers. All without any tools like scissors or anything. Just by hand. If we had other materials, we could do a lot more.
Franklin hopes to be allowed back into the communal cell soon. There is more variety there. It will be a long time before he is released.
I'll be released in the year 2052. That's how long my sentence will last.
He doesn't want to talk about what he's in prison for, but this much is clear. A prison sentence for almost 40 years is only given for capital offenses. The communal cells are divided according to gang affiliation. The hostility between the dominant gangs in the country, such as Barrio 18 and MS-13, is great, even in prison. There are also cells for those who do not belong to a gang. The guards call them paisa. One of them is 34-year-old Luis, sentenced to 20 years behind bars. He shares a cell with 7 other prisoners.
¿Está aquí?
Here we play a game called Luisa.
Que se llama Luisa.
It's played with dice.
Aquí están
And here,
cenando
my
mis
cellmates are
compañeros.
eating.
Aquí duerme
One of us sleeps here, and another there.
Aquí duerme otro.
He sleeps there.
Aquí. Aquí. Este es el baño.
This is the bathroom.
Aquí están mis
This is
compañeros
also
con los
where
que
we
hago
train.
Ejercicio, rutina. Aquí es donde lavamos.
This is where we do our laundry, here in the sink.
La pila donde se lava la ropa. El baño
And this is our toilet.
queda acá. Este es el baño.
One toilet and one shower for 8 guys.
Aquí está la ducha. Sí hay
When
sol.
the sun shines, there's hot water. When there's no sun, just cold. This is our punching bag.
Punch.
A punching bag made from an old mattress, homemade, like almost everything in the cell. If you want to make ends meet in this prison, you have to be creative.
This here is my friend Paul. This is Jose Mendoza. I always train with Jose. And this is Danilo. He's my brother-in-law. Danilo is my wife's brother. It helps to have a relative in a place like this.
Constant boredom and oppressive confinement, 24 hours a day, provide plenty of potential for conflict.
We've developed a daily routine of exercises and activities to reduce stress. We do strength training, and we spend part of the day playing games. Some play checkers, others Luisa. And we often sit together and talk, and tell each other stories from our time before prison.
They have no other options to keep themselves occupied here. But boredom is not the only problem afflicting the prisoners.
We all have families. In the other prisons we were in, we were able to work and support our families that way. It was a bit like being with them. But here we can't do that. Here we have no work, and therefore we can't support our families.
The prison is planning to build workshops, but no one knows when that will happen. The men only have yard duty once every 2 weeks, under the strictest security precautions. The guards take Luis and his cellmates out of the cell one by one. They search them and bind their hands and feet.
Riots can break out at any time. They can get angry and attack us.
More than 20 guards supervise the 8 prisoners as they walk around the yard. The colleagues on the roof are ready to crack down at the slightest sign of unrest. Luis and his cellmates have an hour before they must return to their cell. The men use the time to move around and, above all, to talk to their families. 10 minutes on the phone, that's all they are allowed. While the others enjoy their short time in the sun, Luis is depressed after his phone call.
I've just been on the phone. It was an important conversation, but unfortunately, I got some bad news. My sister told me that my mother broke her arm and now needs an operation. News like that is extremely hard for me because I'm isolated from everything. I don't hear about any of it. We're only allowed to talk on the phone every 2 weeks, and only in the 1 hour when we're in the yard. That means I get good or bad news every 2 weeks. And today, unfortunately, it was bad news.
His injured mother is far away from him, like everything else from his previous life. Renovation 1 resembles a fortress. Outside, a high wire fence with several rows of barbed wire. At the top and at the bottom. Behind it is a wide electric fence, and it is live. Touching it is life-threatening. Behind it is the massive prison wall. Heavily armed guards are stationed on the towers and rooftops. No movement escapes their notice. In addition, the entire prison grounds are under video surveillance. More than 50 cameras cover every corner of the compound. 2 officers monitor the video recordings around the clock.
Here we observe everything that happens. How people behave, both the inmates and the visitors. We're watching for every suspicious movement. Things like reaching into your pant pockets, or whether they walk into areas where they have no business at all being. Things like that.
If the guards notice anything, they raise the alarm. In the worst-case scenario, like a prison riot, they immediately order all available guards here to the armory. It is manned around the clock, even at night. In an emergency, it takes just 5 minutes to equip all 110 guards. However, the security situation was not always as under control as it is today. The prison used to be called El Infinito, which translates as Little Hell. The gangs were in charge of the prison. The warden shows us what remains from this time.
When the prison was cleared, it was discovered that the prisoners had bred fish here. They also had alligators and other exotic animals. We still don't know where they got them from and how they brought them into the prison. Nor do we know what they fed the alligators.
Chickens, fish, raccoons, an eagle, and 2 alligators. The backyard of the prison resembled a zoo.
That was over here. There were 2 alligators in this basin. They lived there. Here's the pool. When families came to visit, they spent time there and played with the children, especially in summer. There was also an extra area further back where you could shower afterwards.
The inmates led an almost luxurious life in prison. In June 2024, 400 police officers stormed El Infinito. The inmates were transferred to other prisons. What the police found after the eviction is incredible. Slot machines, telephones, televisions, fridges, and PlayStations. There were also weapons, countless cell phones, and underground fiber optic cables. The gang bosses even ordered murders and extortion from prison. After 4 months of renovations, the government reopened the prison under the name Renovation 1. Prisoners can now only dream of the old days.
There used to be a total loss of control here. But with the evacuation and reopening this summer, we've regained control. So far, it hasn't changed. It's hard work to keep the upper hand and requires a lot of checks and discipline.
The new director relies on tough rules and surveillance. Each cell is fitted with a thick, cage-like metal mesh that even a bolt cutter cannot break. There is no power supply in the cells. Even the light switch is outside and operated by the guards. There's no chance of charging a cell phone. There is a clinic, a courtroom, and special visiting rooms for lawyers on the prison grounds. In the best-case scenario, inmates should never have to leave the prison. If a prisoner has to leave his cell, he is handcuffed and shackled even for a few meters. For most of the day, however, the almost 200 prisoners sit safely locked away in their cells. One of them is Marlon. He has been behind bars for over 30 years, convicted of several capital crimes.
I'm 53 now and have been in prison for 31 years. That's a long time. In the end, I've spent more time in prison than I have on the outside. I was young, just 22. I hung out with the wrong people, made the wrong decisions, and committed some crimes.
Marlon served in the military police and abused his power and weapons, as he recounts. Today, he would like nothing more than to be able to turn back time.
Many of my former classmates have since gone on to university. Some of them are now successful business people. Others have made a career in the military. I don't know what I would be doing today if I hadn't ended up here. But I know I would definitely be a much better father. I love my children. It will be nice to be able to spend time with them.
Marlon has 4 children from 2 wives. He no longer has any contact with his first wife. He met his second wife during his time in prison.
After we got married, we thought for 5 years about whether we wanted to start a family or not. We then decided to have a child. God then blessed us with our son Gilberto. Then we had another little girl. She wasn't planned, but we were still very happy about it.
His family gives him strength to survive his time behind bars, even if he only sees them twice a month for a few hours. The majority of inmates in Renovation 1 have families and children, many of them conceived during the monthly intimate visits. Franklin is one such inmate.
You can make all sorts of things with this technique. For example, you can make Snoopy or a tiger, various animals and pictures. I give the figures to my family. My little daughter is my wife, my baby. I make things for them.
The last time he saw his children was a year ago. To protect them from acts of revenge by people from his past, Franklin is not registered as the father. This means the children have no regular visiting rights. This only applies to official family members.
We make these bracelets from tattered socks. We split them up, use the wool, and braid them. At the end, we flame it, and the bracelet is finished.
His handicrafts are the only way he can display his love to his children. It's now lunchtime. Meals have arrived. The guards check every meal very carefully. Drugs and cell phones are worth several $1,000s in prison. The guards then prepare baskets for each cell. Everything is meticulously counted. Although it is only a few meters to the cell wing, a second security check is carried out here. Just like when handing out breakfast, the guards have as little contact with the prisoners as possible. After that, Pablo finally has his lunch break. He and his colleagues order their food from one of the small restaurants in the area. Pablo has been working as a prison guard for a year now.
It's exhausting, especially when the prisoners are upset or go berserk. But then I have to be patient. Only with patience can you get them under control and get them to calm down and come to their senses.
Pablo earns the equivalent of just under $1,000 a month. A good salary in Guatemala, but his job is dangerous.
When the prisoners are in a bad mood, they get angry with the authorities. But the authorities are not here. Their anger is then directed at anyone they find, and that's us, because we're the ones here on site.
If they find out the identity of the guards, they do not shy away from threats and attacks on their families.
Nevertheless, my family has always supported me. They know that I like my job, and that it was my decision.
Despite all the challenges, Pablo is determined to carry on with the job. A high-ranking visitor has been announced for the next day, the Deputy Security Minister. She wants to see for herself that the prison is still under the full control of the authorities. That's why the warden has ordered cell searches. The minister is not to find anything to complain about. 30 guards have been deployed for the task. Lewis's cell is one of those affected. He and his fellow inmates have to leave the cell for this. The risk of one of them losing his composure while the guards rummage through his things is too great. Then the search begins. If the guards find anything, Lewis and the others are facing the risk of confiscation of their belongings, and worst of all, solitary confinement and another charge.
I look for sharp tools, a razor blade or a knife, for example. Prisoners are not allowed to have such things under any circumstances.
In addition to homemade weapons, the guards search for cell phones, money, drugs, and alcohol. They also look for messages that prisoners use to communicate between the cells, and, in the worst case, to plan a riot. The guards leave no corner unturned, and even check the walls.
Sometimes they make holes in the wall, hide something in them, and then seal the holes with toothpaste. You can hardly see it. You notice it when you run your hand over it or tap it. But there's nothing here. I've searched everywhere.
Fortunately, the inmates remain composed during this process. After 20 minutes, the guards have searched every inch of the cell.
We found nothing illegal in the cell. This cell, therefore, corresponds exactly to our specifications. We were unable to find any evidence of any illegal activities.
The prisoners can now return to their cells. The warden is satisfied with the result of the search.
Many thanks to everyone. The result shows that we're doing a good job. Let's continue to do this and fulfill our tasks to the best of our knowledge and belief.
What remains is a devastated cell. The prisoners have to clean it up themselves, and they also have to live with the fact that some of their meager possessions have been broken. Guard Pablo and his colleagues get back to work. Inmate Marlon and the others in his cell have a family visit the next day. That's why they are allowed to talk to their families on the phone today. They go out into the yard in small groups. They are allowed exactly 10 minutes for the phone call. The guards keep track of the time.
Two more minutes.
I receive visits from my mother. She's the only member of my family who is still alive. And, of course, from my wife and children. I've just spoken to my wife on the phone. I asked her to bring cheese tomorrow. I asked her if she could cook chicken in cream, only if she can afford it, of course.
For the prisoners, visiting day means not only seeing their families, but also finally getting good food. The food is shared with everyone. Each family brings as much as they can. After all the prisoners are safely locked back in their cells, Pablo and his colleagues are off work. The night shift takes over.
I'm glad that the shift is over.
His next shift begins in 12 hours. For now, however, things are quiet in Renovation 1. A few kilometers away in Escuintla city center, however, the evening is just beginning. The police have planned a raid on a brothel for today.
Get on your bikes. Let's go.
Captain Barajo Shonai is leading the operation.
Primarily, we want to prevent criminal offenses. We do raids and searches on a regular basis. If we come across people committing an illegal act during one of our searches, we arrest them. We also look for people with open arrest warrants. That's how we prevent another crime. Or, in the worst case, a murder.
On the way to the raid, the officers notice a suspicious vehicle and stop it. The occupants appear harmless at first glance, but the officers aren't impressed. The driver and car are searched.
This car model is very often stolen and used for crimes. That's why we checked this car.
Guatemala is mainly used as a transit country for cocaine to North America. According to the US DEA, 250 to 300 tons of cocaine are smuggled through the country every year, while 2 officers search the car for drugs and weapons. Colleagues check whether an arrest warrant exists for the man and his passenger. The 2 are clean. The officers find nothing in the car either. The police continue on their way to the raid. There, they hope to find people who have warrants out for their arrest.
One of the most frequent arrest warrants we receive is for extortion. We very often arrest people who are accused of blackmail. Theft, fraud, and the concealment of other crimes are also common offenses.
Extortion is a huge business in Guatemala. The gangs make $60 million a year from it. Accordingly, they are not squeamish when someone tries to disrupt their business.
Once we were on a mission and a shootout started. Fortunately, I was wearing my bulletproof vest and helmet. They shot me in the head.
The captain was lucky. The bullet got stuck in his helmet. The police have now arrived at the brothel and start the raid. It remains surprisingly calm. In fact, most Guatemalans take a positive view of such raids. The normal population suffers extremely from the business and the war between the gangs.
Our people have now checked all IDs of the people present. There is no arrest warrant out for any of them. We will now give them back the documents and leave the building. Let's go. Have a nice evening.
Even if they haven't caught any criminals today, the raids show the gangs that the police are taking up the fight with them. A new day begins in Guatemala's toughest prison. For inmate Marlon and the others in his cell, today is a long-awaited moment. Their families are coming to visit.
We now take the prisoners out of their cells so that they can prepare for the visit. They are now cleaning the visiting room.
Loaded up with homemade presents, Marlon and 4 other prisoners head outside.
I'm really looking forward to seeing my family.
Wiping tables, sweeping away dirt. It's not a punishment for the prisoners, rather a welcome extra hour outside the cell.
We enjoy cleaning the area where we're about to receive our family.
Even if everyone is in a good mood, the guards don't take their eyes off the 5 of them for a moment. They know only too well that the mood can change within seconds.
They could also try to escape while they're out here. You really never know. And as soon as the visitors arrive, we move to the outside area to keep an eye on everything.
The remaining prisoners from the cell join them, even those who don't get visitors. They are fed by the families of the others. This system is designed to prevent resentment and envy. Marlon is already waiting impatiently.
I'm a bit excited because I'm about to see my children. This is always the day we all look forward to the most.
The 53-year-old has made elaborate presents for his 2 children.
This is one of the Simpsons. He has my son's name on it. Here I've written, I love you, my son Gilberto. And this is for my daughter. It says daughter, and her name is Jali.
Before the visitors are allowed in, another important visit is due: the minister. And she arrives by helicopter from the capital, Guatemala City. The director is visibly nervous. Claudia Palencia is the deputy minister for security. She oversaw the remodeling of the prison. Today, she wants to see for herself that all the security measures are being implemented according to her specifications.
This prison is just the first of many. We're planning to rebuild and renovate other prisons. This is not just about the prison, but our state must preserve and protect itself. We need prisons in which the officers have long-term power. This is the only way we can preserve the state as an institution. This is how we show strength against organized crime. We must make it clear to criminals that this is the new generation of the prison system, and that this is exactly what they can expect here.
For Claudia Palencia, Renovation 1 is also a declaration of war on corruption and crime. Then the visitors are finally allowed in. Marlon's family is already waiting. They've brought lots of food with them. The guards first examine it in the X-ray scanner. They also check it again manually.
The drinks may contain alcohol. This is strictly forbidden. It must contain exactly what you have specified.
The guards know that the temptation to smuggle in alcohol or drugs for a beloved husband or son is high, despite drastic punishments. Meanwhile, Marlon's wife and children have to undergo a full body search, and then into the body scanner.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. We're only allowed to visit every 2 weeks.
The children are overjoyed to see their father. They are still too young to understand the full extent of the situation. Marlon tries to forget his situation for a few hours and just enjoy time with his family.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm a bit overwhelmed by my feelings. My family is my everything. For me, having my children and my wife by my side is the greatest thing.
Marlon and his family are allowed to spend time together until late afternoon. However, it will be many years before they can finally lead a normal life together. Until then, Marlon and the other inmates continue to face the merciless daily grind at Renovation 1, one of the toughest prisons in the world.